Hey guys, so I'm in our corn silage silo that we filled last week. It's been 9 days since we had it full and capped it with plastic. The feed level was just 2 rings from the top, and since then it's settled 3 rings. We're gonna set the unloader up. We need the feed now. It's kind of nice just to let the silo gas off and settle before we set the unloader up and start feeding. I don't know if we'll always do it this way, but we still have the blower running right now, so we're getting fresh air up in here. But it's definitely better than it would have been a week ago. So I'm gonna get rid of this plastic, try to pull all the dry stuff towards the door. I'm gonna fork that out. And then underneath it really should be pretty clean. The feed looks really clean. This is what I expected to see, but I still just wasn't 100% sure if we'd have any mold along the edge. It's amazing how cold this silage is already. That's good. We cleaned the unloader off right after we filled. There was a bunch of feed piled on it. It's nice to do that right away so it's not sitting up there. And it just, you got a bunch of junk feed on top of this. Once you drop it down, you don't know where to go with. Should be good to go now. I'm not even gonna stay up here. We're gonna go down and start a batch. And we should be able to adjust things from down there. I got the ration switched over the new silage. We're gonna let the old silage run into a couple of the heifer groups. Should be a nice improvement getting into this BMR silage. So we're not even gonna mix it for a bit. Got the triticale working on the grain now, and then corn silage will be the last ingredient. This is a batch for pen 3 in the milking barn. So, had a little bit of silage left in this silo from last year. We're down right to the last 6 inches. So we'll let this run for a couple of the heifer groups. It's fine for them. And then the milk cows can get out of the better stuff. Replenish soybeans going in. Molasses is going in. Just gonna watch it once it starts. We gotta lower it down a little bit. It's going to be a little inconsistent the first round because it's not perfectly level. But once we get around the time, it'll be pretty good, I think.
Let me get another one so I can cast it.
Stuff smells great. Looking forward to seeing what the cows do. Our nutritionist is very excited about getting into some different silage. What we were feeding there, it was the silage we harvested too late. It was too dry last fall. Not only was it too dry, but the plants were kind of dying. I don't know, it just didn't make good silage. The 30-hour digestibility was the lowest of any feed we've fed that I can remember. It was like 50% digestibility. There was really nothing about it that was great. So we were doing some things to try and make it a little more tasty for the cows. Cows were doing fine on it, but I think there's at least a few more pounds of milk our cows are willing to make if they have the right feed. Switching to, it should be about as good a feed as we can make. It's not fermented very long, but it's a BMR along with the digestible starch kernel, Brevant unified corn. So feed's really good green like this. Cows should really like it, should be able to digest it a lot better. There it is, first batch of the new feed. Smells good. Yeah, they're gonna like that stuff. We've been growing BMR corn silage for 15 years, ever since I can remember. Filling bunkers, we were putting BMR in there. Seems like the seed companies are phasing out the BMRs. The non-BMR hybrids are starting to catch up. You get some pretty good digestibility out of some of the conventional hybrids. They yield better. And switching to upright silos, the BMR corn is more prone to juicing, so we kind of needed to move away from those anyway. As you can see, we got some streaks on that silo. Got it in a little bit too wet. It was a little bit of a mess going up that silo chute to get to the top. It's not good for the concrete, especially over time. So we don't want to be doing that every year. How's it going, guys? So it's a whole week later. Cows are getting adjusted to this new silage pretty good. They actually went up about 3 pounds of milk within a few days of switching over to this new corn silage. Generally, corn silage improves as you let it ferment because the starch gets more digestible. But the silage we were switching from, that didn't have good fiber digestibility, and this silage had a big improvement in that, as well as the starch being fairly digestible because of the variety that it is. Kind of cool to see the cows take that quick of a jump. I wouldn't be surprised if it inches up a little bit more as we get the ration fine-tuned a little bit. Intakes have definitely been up, so I don't think the feed efficiency is necessarily improved, but they're eating more, making more milk. Still a good thing. Just gonna walk out to this field to see how this triticale's taking off. We seeded this stuff last week. It was fairly dry. Now this week here we got about 2 inches of rain. The fields look a little bit uneven because some of it did germinate before the rain. Now the rest of it's germinating, so it's gonna get pretty even. Stuff's already 4+ inches tall. It's gonna cover this ground over. I like seeing something growing in these fields, not having them just sit bare, let the weeds grow. Get things shaded over, it'll definitely help protect the soil. So that's gonna be it for this video. I didn't film anything this whole week. Just took it a little bit easier, but we have some things coming up. Gotta get the soybeans harvested, the rest of the corn harvested, and we gotta get that milking parlor finished up, extending that by the end of October. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. See you in the next one.